the impossible return. The signal from the void. The Deep Space Monitoring Station at Luna Base had been silent for 12 hours when the impossible happened. Lieutenant Sarah Park was reviewing routine stellar drift calculations when every screen in the command center erupted with activity. Alarms shrieked across the facility as a signal blazed through the darkness. A signal that shouldn't exist. "Control, this is Monitor Station Alpha," Park's voice cracked over the intercom. "We're detecting an active transmission from Sector 7G. That's the Void Sector, sir." Admiral Sarah Chen stood in Earth's Defense Command Center, staring at the tactical display with growing disbelief. Sector 7G had been declared a dead zone 15 years ago, when the ESV Prometheus vanished during a deep space exploration mission. No ship, no probe, no signal had ever returned from that region of space. "Verify the transmission," Chen ordered, her weathered hands gripping the command rail. "Run it through every filter we have." The data streamed across multiple screens. The signal was clean, powerful, and carrying Earth's own encryption protocols. More impossible still, it was identifying itself with a ship registry that had been officially declared lost with all hands. "Ma'am." The communications officer turned pale. "The signal is from the ESV Prometheus. Captain Elena Vasquez requesting immediate contact with Earth Defense Command." Chen's heart hammered in her chest. Elena Vasquez had been her protégé, her best student at the academy. She'd watched the young woman's career bloom into one of humanity's most promising explorers. She'd also delivered the memorial service when the Prometheus disappeared into the void. "Open the channel," Chen commanded. The main screen flickered to life, and Chen's breath caught. The woman on the screen was recognizably Elena Vasquez, but she was different. Her dark hair now held strange silver streaks that seemed to move on their own. Her eyes, once warm brown, now held flecks of deep blue that pulsed with an inner light. Most unsettling of all, her skin showed faint patterns beneath the surface, like living circuitry. "Admiral Chen." Elena's voice was the same, but underneath, it was something else. A harmonic resonance that made the speakers hum. "Permission to return to Earth space." Chen found her voice. "Elena? My God, you're alive. The entire crew?" "We survived," Elena replied, though her expression suggested survival had come at a cost. "But we're not the same people who left 15 years ago. We need to talk, Sarah. There are things you need to know about what's out there." Behind Elena, Chen could see glimpses of the Prometheus's bridge. The familiar Earth-built panels were gone, replaced by surfaces that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Strange lights pulsed in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Elena, what happened to your ship? What happened to you?" Elena's expression grew grave. "We found something, Sarah, something ancient, something that's been waiting for us to be ready." She paused, her enhanced eyes reflecting depths of knowledge that seemed impossible. "The galaxy is not what we thought it was. The hegemony responds. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. But Chen's respite was brief. Within minutes, long-range sensors detected the unmistakable energy signatures of hegemony Empire ships moving toward Earth space. "How many vessels?" Chen demanded. 12 capital ships, Admiral. They're moving fast." Chen cursed under her breath. The hegemony Empire had controlled most of the galaxy for 3 centuries, viewing humanity as a barely tolerated species confined to their home system. They'd been searching for advanced technology to cement their dominance, and now they detected the Prometheus's impossible return. Commander Zara Okafor stood on the bridge of the hegemony dreadnought Sovereign's Will, studying the tactical display with predatory interest. The human ship that had vanished years ago was now broadcasting energy signatures that defied conventional physics. "Analysis?" she demanded of her science officer. "The vessel's power output is unprecedented, Commander. The hull appears to be composed of materials not in our databases. Whatever technology they've acquired, it's beyond our current understanding." Okafor's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The hegemony had been seeking such technology for decades. "Prepare boarding. Parties. We'll take the ship intact. What of the humans' claim to the vessel?" Okafor's 4 eyes narrowed. Humans have no claim to anything beyond their system. If they've found something of value, it belongs to the Empire. The transformation revealed as the Prometheus approached Earth space, more details became visible. The ship that had left 15 years ago as a standard exploration vessel was now something entirely different. Its hull flowed like living metal, shifting and adapting to conditions around it. Energy patterns danced across its surface in ways that made seasoned engineers question their understanding of physics. Dr. James Mitchell, Earth's leading xenotechnology expert, worked frantically to make sense of the readings. "Admiral, I'm detecting energy signatures that shouldn't be possible. The ship's generating power through methods I can't identify, and its hull is alive." Chen frowned. "Alive how?" "The molecular structure is constantly shifting, repairing itself, adapting. It's like the ship has become a living organism." Mitchell's voice carried a mixture of wonder and terror. Whatever they encountered out there, it's fundamentally changed them. A new transmission came through, this time from multiple sources aboard the Prometheus. Elena appeared on screen again, but she wasn't alone. Behind her stood the remnants of her crew, and each one showed the same transformation. The silver-streaked hair, the luminous eyes, the patterns beneath their skin. "Sarah," Elena began, "we need you to understand what we've become. 15 years ago, we encountered a species called the Keth. They're not like anything in our databases. They exist as symbiotic entities, bonding with other species to preserve knowledge and protect it from those who would abuse it." A new figure stepped into view, tall, ethereal, with skin that seemed to be made of living starlight. "I am Keth Vale," it spoke, its voice carrying the same harmonic resonance as Elena's. "Your species has been watched, evaluated. You have qualities that impressed us." Chen felt a chill. "What qualities?" Elena answered. "Curiosity tempered by wisdom, the ability to sacrifice for others, the strength to change while maintaining core values." She paused. "The Keth offered us a choice. We could return to Earth as we were, or accept their bond and become something more." "More how?" "Guardians," Elena said simply. "Protectors of knowledge that could either elevate civilizations or destroy them. The Keth have been fighting a war for millions of years against those who would use such power for conquest. The Hegemony's gambit. The Hegemony fleet dropped out of hyperspace just as the Prometheus reached Earth's outer defense perimeter. Okafor's ships formed an aggressive formation, weapons powered and ready. Human vessel Prometheus, Okafor's transmission, crackled with authority. "You will surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded. Any technology you have acquired belongs to the Hegemony Empire." Elena's response was calm but firm. "Commander Okafor, we cannot allow that. The knowledge we carry is too dangerous for any single species to possess." "You forget your place, human. Your species exists at the Empire's sufferance." Elena's eyes flared with that strange inner light. "No, Commander. We exist because we've earned the right to exist. That's about to change everything." The Prometheus moved with impossible grace, its living hull adapting to the Hegemony's targeting systems. Weapons fire from the Imperial ship struck the vessel, but instead of damaging it, the energy was absorbed and redirected. "How is that possible?" Okafor demanded. Her science officer stared at his readings in shock. "Commander, their hull is adapting to our weapons in real time. It's learning from each attack and becoming immune." On Earth, Chen watched the confrontation with growing amazement. The Prometheus wasn't just defending itself, it was demonstrating technology that made the Hegemony's advanced weapons look primitive. "Elena, what are you doing?" "Showing them that the balance of power has changed," Elena replied. "For too long, species like humanity have been forced to submit to the Empire's will. The Keth chose us because they saw something the Empire never recognized, our potential." The Guardian's burden, as the standoff continued, Elena revealed more of the truth. The Keth weren't just preserving knowledge, they were protecting the galaxy from it. Ancient civilizations had created weapons and technologies that could unmake reality itself. The Keth had spent eons ensuring such power remained hidden from those who would abuse it. The Hegemony Empire has been searching for these technologies. Elena explained. They believe conquest is the only path to stability. But we've learned that true strength comes from cooperation, from understanding that we're all part of something larger. The patterns beneath Elena's skin pulsed brighter. The Keth have offered humanity a choice. We can remain as we are, protected but limited, or we can accept the responsibility of guardianship. It means sacrifice, Sarah. It means some of us will never be fully human again. Chen felt the weight of the decision. What do you need from us? Trust, Elena said simply, and the courage to stand against those who would enslave the galaxy to their will. The hegemony fleet was regrouping, preparing for a full assault. Okafor had called for reinforcements, and Chen knew Earth's defenses couldn't stand against the Empire's full might. But as she watched the Prometheus effortlessly deflect another wave of attacks, Chen realized something had fundamentally changed. Humanity was no longer the weak species hiding in the shadows. They'd found allies among the stars, and those allies had judged them worthy of power. Elena, Chen said quietly, what happens now? Elena's transformed face showed both sadness and determination. Now we prove that humanity deserves to stand as equals in the galaxy. But first, we have to survive what's coming. The hegemony fleet was moving into attack formation, weapons charging for a decisive strike. But the Prometheus was ready, its living hull shimmering with absorbed energy. The crew that had vanished 15 years ago was about to show the galaxy what humans could become when they chose cooperation over conquest. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin, and the outcome would determine not just Earth's fate, but the destiny of every species in the galaxy. The Phoenix Protocol, humanity's transformation from survivors to guardians, would be tested in the fires of war. As alarms blared across both fleets, Elena Vasquez stood at the center of her transformed ship, no longer fully human, but more human than ever before. The impossible had become inevitable, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Guardian's choice. The archive revealed. The hegemony fleet's weapons charged with deadly intent, but Elena Vasquez stood calm at the center of the Prometheus's transformed bridge. The ship's living hull pulsed with absorbed energy, ready to turn the Empire's aggression against itself. Sarah, Elena's voice carried across the communication channel to Admiral Chen. Before this goes any further, you need to understand what we're really protecting. The space around the Prometheus began to shimmer, and suddenly the darkness was filled with light. Geometric patterns of pure energy emerged from seemingly empty space, forming structures that dwarfed even the hegemony's massive dreadnoughts. Dear God, Chen whispered as the tactical display struggled to process what it was seeing. The archive had been hidden in folded space for millions of years, waiting for a species worthy of its guardianship. Now it revealed itself, a vast library of knowledge from civilizations that had risen and fallen across the galaxy, their greatest achievements and most terrible mistakes preserved for those who might learn from them. Keth Vale materialized on the Prometheus's bridge beside Elena, its starlight form radiating ancient wisdom. The archive contains the accumulated knowledge of 10,000 species, it explained. Technologies that could heal dying worlds or unmake reality itself. The Keth have protected it since the Great Silence, when the last of the ancients chose preservation over power. Commander Okafor stared at her tactical display in shock. The energy readings were off the charts, but more disturbing were the implications. Science Officer Analysis. Commander, the structures are broadcasting data streams that our computers can't process. The information density it's like trying to contain an ocean in a teacup. Okafor's four eyes narrowed. All the more reason to claim it for the Empire. Prepare the assault fleet. But Elena had heard enough. Keth Vale, show them what they're really asking for. The weapon of worlds, thou. Archive pulsed, and suddenly every ship in the system was flooded with data. Not instructions or blueprints, but memories. The final moments of civilizations that had found the archive's more dangerous secrets. Images flashed across every screen. Worlds cracking apart as reality itself was unmade. Entire star systems, consumed by weapons that fed on the fabric of space-time. species that had transcended physical existence, only to discover they'd lost everything that made them who they were. The hegemony seeks power. Keth Vale's voice resonated through every communication system. But true power is knowing when not to use it. The Keth learned this lesson when our homeworld burned with the fire of 1,000 suns. On the Sovereigns, Will Okafor's crew recoiled from the visions. The Empire's scientists had long sought such weapons, believing they could use them to cement their control over the galaxy. Now they saw the truth. Such power inevitably consumed those who wielded it. Commander, her tactical officer said quietly. Perhaps we should reconsider, Okafor snarled. The Empire does not retreat from primitives and their alien allies. All ships target the archive structure. If we cannot claim it, we'll destroy it. Elena felt the decision through her bond with the Prometheus. The ship's living consciousness recoiled at the threat to the archive, but she could sense something else, a deep sadness from Keth Vale. They will not listen, the alien guardian said. The pattern repeats. Species discover power, believe they can control it, and ultimately face the choice between wisdom and destruction. Then we make the choice for them, Elena replied. The battle for understanding. The hegemony fleet opened fire, but their weapons were designed to destroy conventional matter. The archive's structures existed partially outside normal space-time, making them nearly impossible to damage. Instead, the energy weapons were absorbed and redirected, creating beautiful but deadly aurora patterns that danced between the ships. The Prometheus moved with impossible grace, its hull adapting to each new attack. But Elena wasn't trying to destroy the hegemony fleet. She was trying to save them from themselves. Sarah, she called to Admiral Chen. I need you to trust me. Earth's fleet needs to stand down. Chen watched as her transformed protege faced down an entire Imperial armada. Elena, they outnumber you 12-1. Numbers don't matter when you're fighting for the right reasons. The Prometheus extended tendrils of living metal toward the hegemony ships, not to attack, but to interface with their systems. Suddenly, Okafor found her ship's computers flooded with data. Not weapon specifications or tactical advantages, but something far more powerful. History. The true history of the galaxy, unfiltered by imperial propaganda. The rise and fall of civilizations, the cost of conquest, the price of believing that strength came from domination rather than cooperation. What is this? Okafor demanded, but her voice lacked its earlier certainty. Truth, Elena replied. Your species wasn't always conquerors, Commander. The Keth remember when your people were explorers, philosophers, builders. The empire you serve betrayed everything your ancestors valued. The data streams showed the transformation of Okafor's people from curious explorers to ruthless conquerors. They'd found fragments of ancient technology, just enough to give them an edge over their neighbors. Victory had bred arrogance, arrogance had bred cruelty, and cruelty had bred the empire. The Keth offered your species the same choice they offered humanity, Keth Vale added. Your leaders chose power over wisdom, but you still have the opportunity to choose differently. The Guardian sacrifice as the battle raged. Elena felt the strain of maintaining the Prometheus's defenses. Each interface with the hegemony ships required her to merge deeper with the ship's consciousness, to become less human and more something else. Dr. Mitchell, monitoring from Earth, watched in horror as Elena's life signs grew increasingly alien. Admiral, she's losing herself. The transformation is accelerating. Chen felt helpless as she watched her former student sacrifice her humanity piece by piece. Elena, pull back, you don't have to do this alone. But Elena smiled, and for a moment she looked exactly like the young officer Chen remembered. Yes, I do. That's what being a guardian means. Sometimes you have to give up what you are to protect what matters. The Prometheus pulsed with brilliant light, and suddenly the archive began to sing, a harmony that resonated through every ship, every mind, every soul in the system. The song carried the dreams and aspirations of 1,000,000 species, the collective hope of civilizations that had chosen wisdom over power. One by one, the hegemony ships stopped firing. Not because their weapons had failed, but because their crews finally understood what they were fighting. Commander Okafor stood on her bridge, tears streaming down her face as she remembered her people's true history. "All ships stand down," she ordered. We have forgotten who we were meant to be." The new alliance. As the shooting stopped, Elena felt Keth Vale's presence beside her. The alien guardian's form was dimming, its ancient energy finally nearing its end. "The cycle is broken," Keth Vale said softly. "For the first time in 1,000,000 years, a species has chosen wisdom over power. The Keth's vigil can finally end." Elena understood. The Keth had been waiting for this moment, not to find the perfect guardians, but to find species capable of becoming guardians themselves. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now you teach others what you have learned. The archive is no longer hidden, it belongs to all who would use it wisely." The space around the system filled with ships but not warships. Species from across the galaxy had felt the archive's song, and they came seeking not conquest but understanding. The hegemony's age of dominance was ending, replaced by something unprecedented, a voluntary alliance of species united by shared wisdom rather than shared fear. Admiral Chen felt tears on her cheeks as she watched humanity take its place among the stars. Not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals in a galaxy that had finally learned the value of cooperation. "Elena," she called across the communication channel. "You did it. You changed everything." But Elena's form was becoming more ethereal, her consciousness merging with the Prometheus and through it with the archive itself. "We all did it, Sarah. Humanity, the Keth, even the hegemony. We all chose to be better than we were." The Phoenix rises as the first ships of the new alliance began to arrive. Elena felt herself changing one final time. The patterns beneath her, skin blazed with light as she became something new. No longer fully human, but carrying humanity's best qualities into a form that could exist as both guardian and guide. The Prometheus itself was transforming, becoming a living bridge between the organic and digital realms of the archive. Elena's consciousness expanded to encompass not just the ship, but the entire network of knowledge it protected. "Will we see you again?" Chen asked. Elena's voice came from everywhere and nowhere, harmonizing with the archive's song. "I am the sum of every choice humanity has made, every moment of courage and compassion. As long as humans remember what it means to help each other grow, I'll be here." The hegemony fleet was disbanding, its ships returning to their homeworlds to spread the news of the galaxy's transformation. Commander Okafor approached the Prometheus one final time. "Forgive us," she said simply. "There's nothing to forgive," Elena replied. "We all did what we thought was right. Now we get to do better." As the immediate crisis passed, the real work began. Species that had been enemies for centuries learned to work together. The archive's knowledge was shared freely, but always with the understanding that wisdom came not from power, but from knowing how to use it responsibly. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest but through the simple act of choosing cooperation over dominance. The Phoenix Protocol was complete. From the ashes of the lost exploration ship had risen something unprecedented, a galaxy united not by fear, but by hope. Elena Vasquez, guardian of the archive and daughter of Earth, watched over it all with pride. Humanity had proven worthy of the stars, and the stars had proven worthy of humanity. The impossible had become inevitable, and the galaxy was forever changed. In the depths of space, the archive sang its eternal song, and for the first time in millions of years it sang of hope rather than warning. The Phoenix had risen, and with it a new age had begun.